Hey everyone, my name is Elo Bandit, and this is the third episode in my series of Pokemon Gimmicks. Today I'm going to be talking about my very favorite strategy of all time, which is Sturdy Shedinja. Some of you have probably seen this before, but not to the extent that I'm going to show you. For those of you that have never heard of this, I'll explain how it works. Shedinja only has 1 HP. This is kind of made up for by the fact that it has Wonder Guard, which means that only super effective moves will hit it. However, Wonder Guard is not the best ability that a Shedinja could possibly have. If a Pokemon has the ability Sturdy, it'll survive any attack with 1 hit point if it was at full health. This means that if Shedinja, who only has 1 hit point, had the ability Sturdy, any attack would bring him back down to 1 health, which is full health, meaning you could essentially be hit over and over and over and over and never die.
Wow, Elo Bandit, that sure sounds cool.
That's because it is cool. So how do you get a Sturdy Shedinja? Well, in singles you can't really, but in doubles you can. No Pokemon with Sturdy learns Entrainment, which is the only way to overwrite Wonder Guard. However, Carbink has Sturdy and he learns Skill Swap. He's also the only Sturdy Pokemon that can learn Trick Room. Audino is the tankiest user of Entrainment. Lopunny, Pangoro, Dedenne, Durant, Hawlucha, and a few others can also work, but they are nowhere near as tanky and reliable as Audino. On turn 1 of a battle, Audino can use Skill Swap to switch Regenerator for Sturdy. Carbink can use Trick Room, so that Audino will move first the next turn. On turn 2 of a battle, Carbink can switch out, getting the health back from Regenerator, and Shedinja can switch in. Then, since Audino is so slow, she'll move first in the Trick Room, and can use Entrainment to give Shedinja Sturdy. Now, Shedinja can start setting up Swords Dance, while the rest of his team supports him, and makes him immune to just about everything else. This is Shedinja's hate list. If you want to use Shedinja, you have to know this. If you want to play against Shedinja, you still have to know this. The first thing on the list that we've already taken care of is super effective damage. Since Shedinja has Sturdy, he no longer has to worry about it. The second thing on the list is status. Now, if Audino or someone else uses Thunder Wave on Shedinja, he no longer has to worry about being burned or poisoned, so we can cross that one off. As for Confusion, Sturdy Shedinja, even if he hits himself in Confusion, will endure the hit, so we don't have to worry about that either. Entry hazards only apply if Shedinja hasn't already entered the field, but we can run someone with Defog to prevent those from happening before we switch in Shedinja. Next up on the list is Recoil Damage, and that means stuff like Ferrothorn's Iron Barbs or Rocky Helmet, and that can be solved by using the move Secret Power, which is 70 base power with a chance to paralyze. It is a physical attack, but it does not make contact. That's how you deal with Recoil Damage. If opponent has Mold Breaker, or Terravolt, or Turbo Blaze, they can break through Shedinja's Wonder Guard or Sturdy. This can be dealt with by using Protect on Shedinja, and Skill Swap, or Entrainment, or Worry Seed from your support. Leech Seed is a little bit trickier. There's a move called Forest's Curse that only Trevenant learns that adds the Grass type to your Pokemon. So if you get a Trevenant to use Forest's Curse on Shedinja, he becomes part Grass type and immune to Leech Seed. The scary ghost moves, Curse, Perish Song, and Destiny Bond, can all be dealt with by having a support use Taunt. Now, this isn't foolproof, but it's better than nothing. Same thing with phasing. Roar and Whirlwind can be taunted, though unfortunately Dragon Tail cannot. If they have Dragon Tail, and you still have supports left up on the field, it's probably going to be game over. Ability neutralizers, like Skill Swap, Gastro Acid, or enemy entrainments, can also be taunted. But again, it's not foolproof, and they may show up when you don't expect them. The last thing to worry about are trapping moves. This means Infestation, Fire Spin, Magma Storm, and Whirlpool. Now, the upside is these moves are not very common, and only a few teams use them. The downside is there's no stopping them. There's no taunting them, there's no surviving the damage after the turn ends. The only way you can beat someone that has Infestation is to knock them out before they can use it. Trapping moves are the only things that you can't reliably deal with. I'll show you the team I use in Pokemon Showdown. This is the Shedinja. He's got Sword Stance to boost his attack, Shadow Claw for stab and physical damage, and then Secret Power for more physical damage that doesn't make contact. Protect is there so that his allies can switch in and he doesn't have to worry about getting hit by anything. The EV spread is maximum attack and minimum speed for Trick Room. Audino and Carbink are both mixed tanks that have a little bit more defense than special defense, mainly because more of the moves that hit them are physical. Audino mainly has to worry about fighting types, whereas Carbink mainly has to worry about steel types. Carbink has Trick Room, Safeguard, Skill Swap, and Protect. Audino has Skill Swap, Entrainment, Thunderwave, and Protect. They both carry Mental Herbs to deal with Taunt and Encore. An important thing to note is that Carbink has 1 IV into speed, which means that outside of a Trick Room he will always be slightly faster than Audino, whereas in a Trick Room Audino will always be slightly faster. Thunderous is the first support to come in after Audino goes down. His EVs are set up so that he can take a hit, and his moveset, Taunt, stops enemies from trying to do funny business, Thunderwave stops Shedinja from being burned or poisoned, Knockoff deals with things like Rocky Helmets, and Rain Dance is there in case your opponent is running a Sun team. If I see the opponent has a really obvious Sun team, something like Ninetales and Houndoom, I'll lead with Audino and Thunderous, so that Thunderous can use Rain Dance, and Audino can use Protect. This pretty much shuts down any Sun team. I use a bulky Trevenant with the moves Trick Room, once the first one runs out, Will-O-Wisp, to burn people and not have to worry about recoil damage, Worry Seed to take care of Mold Breaker, Terravolt, and Turbo Blaze, and Forest's Curse to add Grass to Shedinja to make him immune to Leech Seed. This is the bulky Scun Tank I use with Safety Goggles, and there are other options here. I've used Talonflame, I've used Mandibuzz, but I do like Scun Tank because it is only weak to ground, which makes it deceptively tanky. It has access to Taunt, Defog to take care of Stealth Rocks. It has Sunny Day to shut down rain teams, same thing as Thunderous, but other way around. And it has Memento. The reason for Memento is if I see the opponent has something like Conkeldurr that I know can take out Audino, I'll lead with Scun Tank and just immediately use Memento on the Conkeldurr. This always drops their attack low enough that Audino can survive without a problem. Overall, this gimmick has very, very high potential, because you are coming as close as you possibly can to having an invincible Pokemon. The setup is easy to moderate depending on your enemy team, and if they have things that can shut you down or not, but in general it'll only take 2 or 3 turns of setup. This strategy is very, very difficult to shut down once it gets going, because of how reliable Shedinja's teammates are at supporting him. Overall, is this strategy viable? Yes. Yes it is. I've used this strategy a whole lot, and it has won me definitely more games than it's lost. Also, it's worth it just to see the reactions of players that have no idea how to deal with it. Will Elo Bandit ever stop using MS Paint for his tutorials? Will he ever purchase Bandicam and get rid of that damn watermark? Will he finally get more subscribers than Snow White has dwarves? Find out next time on Pokemon Gimmicks.